Okay, take 3. So if you're just jumping on now, we've had some really crappy service here. So we've had issues with the live tonight. So I'm just testing it to make sure that I can be heard properly. Let me just see if that's coming through better. If you're on and you can jump on and let me know whether you can hear it all right, that would be great. With the live tonight. Oh, so sounds like it's working. That would be great. Sounds like it's working. Okay. So what I will do is I might just keep rambling. I did tell everyone to come back in about 8 minutes. So I'm just going to start right from the beginning again. I've ditched all the other lives that we tried to do. So hopefully you can all hear me now. I think I fixed the problem and it was a Wi-Fi problem. So I can see a couple of people have jumped on. Can you please give me a thumbs up and let me know if that's better and if you can hear me before I start all over again? It's not my day today. So, oh, a thumbs up. You can hear me. Is that better? So much better. Yay. Okay, thank you. Who knows whether we're going to keep it like that. So, okay, we're going to start again. So very briefly, this is week 3 of the Paranormal and Spiritual Apprenticeship. So each week we jump on, except for last week because I was ill, but each week we jump on and we go through a whole heap of different things. So it could be like paranormal investigating, or it could be more spiritual. And we just change it up all the time. So yay, I'm glad that you can hear me now. I've just got to turn off my computer so I don't get the feedback. All right, so we're talking about personal energy tonight. We've got quite a few things different that we're going to be going through. So the first thing we're going to get into is personal energy and your personal energy ID. So what is that? Hi, Leanne, how are you? So what is that? So your personal energy ID is your authentic energy that your body has that you create. So we're all made up of energy. So as we know that working with spirit or working the paranormal field, spirits, the ones that we're trying to communicate with, are leftover energy, residual energy. Okay, so our bodies create, store and work with energy. So we're energetic beings. So most of you will know your aura. So I'll show this again. I showed it earlier. This is an aura photo that I was taken of me last week, I think it was. Now, at that time, that's what my aura was looking like. But auras are forever changing. So if I went and got a photo of my aura now, it could look quite a bit different. Okay, so it's like your fingerprint. So your fingerprint is unique to you, and so is your energy ID. And it's forever changing. So why does it change? Because different things control it. I'm talking really fast now. I'm trying to catch up, but I should just slow down. So our mind can control our energy field. So our emotions, our thoughts, also our body. So the actions of our body, illness and injury will change our energy. Environment. So environmental factors will also change it, and other people's energy. So other people's energy is sort of what we want to be talking about tonight, because I want to talk to you guys about how to protect your energy, how to feel other people's energy, so that we're not victims of these energy vampires. All right, so your body will change from high vibration to low vibration and anywhere in between. So when you think about emotions of joy, happiness, excitement, passion, love, that's high vibrating energy. And when you think of things like sadness, loss, grief, greed, all that sort of thing, they're the low vibrating. All right. So what we need to do is we need to make sure for a content life, that our vibration is somewhere in the middle and up the top. We're always going to have those periods of time where our vibration is lower, because as humans we go through those human emotions of, but what we need to do is trying to reduce the amount of time that we are sitting in that low vibration. So when a medium is trying to bring through spirit. Hi Louise, how are you, doll? When a medium is trying to bring through spirit, what we're trying to do is we're trying to heighten our vibration, and spirit needs to bring theirs down so that we can meet in the middle somewhere. And that's where we form the connection between medium and spirit. So 9 times out of 10, if you're getting a great reading from a true medium, the medium's been able to, regardless of what's happened in their day or what's happening in their life, they've been able to raise their vibration, okay, so that when spirit lowers their vibration, that they can meet and have that connection. If you're someone that works with energy or works with spirit, and you're having troubles connecting, have a look at where you think your own personal energy ID is vibrating. It could be that you've had a really crappy day at work, or something's going on with the family, or you're not feeling well. All those things will make our vibration lower, and it is harder for us to communicate with spirit with a low vibrating energy. So when you're going out on an investigation, it's a good idea just to, at the back of your mind, to think about what frame of mind you are in, and how your body's feeling, because that will affect how you are vibrating, and how you are vibrating will affect your efficiency in being able to not only communicate with spirit, but to feel spirit. Okay. This book here I've been reading, sort of my go-to book, Energy Rules, Deflect Negative and Negative Vibrations and Own Your Own Energy. Oh, hi Belinda, you're back too, much better. Yay. So that's been a book that I have been using as reference for quite a while now. And while I've always worked with energy and been aware of my own energy, I didn't quite understand it in more of an advance and look at it. So by reading that, I've been able to help heighten and stay in a more heightened vibration than what I had previously been in. And I can tell you the difference of and the changes that have happened in my life since I've started vibrating at that higher level. Crazy. And I just wish that I had done this study and learnt this years ago to be able to benefit me. So we talk about giving away our energy. So we all talk about the energy vampires, and I'm sure each one of you knows exactly what I'm talking about, because you've probably got 1, 2, maybe even a few of them in your life, or have had them in your life. These are people that basically suck out our high vibrating energy out of us. And even when we're vibrating on a low, they still will try and suck that energy. And that's because they're vibrating on a low frequency. Okay. And for someone that's vibrating on a very low frequency, to be in the presence or see someone or know someone that is vibrating at a higher, that's very attractive. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to suck that energy for themselves. And unfortunately, most of us, because of the, we're people pleasers, or we want to help people, or it's the way we were brought up, or it's just the way we are, we allow it to happen, and sometimes we're not even realizing that we're allowing it to happen. So we give our energy away by saying yes all the time. Okay, yes, I'll do that, even though I'm not well, or I haven't had much to do with you. As soon as you call me and you want something, yes, I'll say yes to that. So saying yes all the time is one way that we are giving away our energy and not leaving enough for us. And giving too much of our energy to somebody, because a lot of the time, these energy vampires or low vibrating beings, they'll ask for something and you give, so they'll ask for something more, and because you're a giver, you'll give more. So they think, oh, well, I'll just keep asking, and they'll keep giving. So that's how we give away our personal ID or our energy. Also allowing negativity, so negative people, but also negative situations and negative environments to infiltrate our energy. So, for example, if you work in a hostile environment and that energy is negative, well, then you are bound to be taking on some of that negative energy. Okay, so we need to look at our environment too, and where we give it away, to people, where we give it away to the environment that we're in. Also, too, not resting ourselves, and constantly being on the go. That's another way that we give away our energy. So it's really important to rest. And I know a lot of people always say, "Oh, I'd love to sleep all day," or if you're feeling that you need rest, take it. And I know that some people think that they don't deserve to rest. Usually, mums. Mums are renowned for thinking, "Oh well, I'll rest later." I've got to do this for this person and that for that person. You're giving away your energy, and you're leaving nothing in the tank for yourself. Okay, and toxic people. We all know toxic people. Some people are energy vampires, and they don't mean to be. But then you've got your toxic ones that absolutely know what they're doing, and they will continue to take and take and take. But there's also negative situations. So if you're going through something like grief, divorce, family situations, they're the sort of things that will automatically suck your energy. So how do we protect our energy? Start saying no. I know that's not easy. I have struggled with that for a very long time, and it's only just been recently where I have started saying no, politely, but thanks, but no, I don't have time for that, or I'd love to, but no, I don't have time, or I'm not able to do that, or even thanks, but that doesn't really interest me. So I'm now finding myself being able to do that in situations where I'd say, oh, okay, sure, I'd love to. Oh, shit, I really don't want to. So the next thing is about setting boundaries. And I've had to set some boundaries, some pretty strong boundaries in the last couple of years. And you always hear people talking about, you've got to set boundaries and strong boundaries. And you think, yeah, you understand the fact that you have to have boundaries, but how do you actually set a boundary? It's very difficult. And it's very difficult for people that don't normally have boundaries. Or you might have boundaries with some people, but not other people. And that's where I found I had them with certain people, but there were a lot of people I didn't have them with. So a way to protect your energy is start saying no, and say it politely. No, thank you. That doesn't feel good for me. That doesn't sit with me. That doesn't interest me. Thanks anyway, but no thanks. Start making some actual boundaries. And it might be that you have to do a little bit of research and reading of boundaries and having examples. It's a long process. And I'm not going to get into it now, but if you're someone that's unsure on how do I actually set a boundary with this person, it might be someone, it could be your partner, it could be your child, it could be a parent, it could be a friend, it could be a co-worker or your boss. So each one is, each of those could be very difficult to set boundaries with. Do you go in hard and fast? Do you sort of, trial it out? So if you're struggling with your boundaries, do some research, and you can always private message me. I don't want to go into all of it now, but you could always private message me if you're struggling, and I can give you some ideas on how to start setting those boundaries. Another way to protect our energy is find some joy for us. How many of you that are on now always think, oh, I really want to do that, but oh no, I can't do it because I haven't got time, or so and so doesn't want me to do that, or for whatever reason. Stop making excuses. Make sure, hi Sarah, how are you, doll? Make sure that you are finding joy for yourself, something that is just, no one else has to find joy in it. If it's lying in bed in your PJs, eating chips and drinking a cup of tea and reading a comic, who cares? If it gives you joy, that will raise your energy, okay, and that will help you restore your energy. We also need to fuel our bodies. So protecting our energy, as far as fuel goes, we all know that we shouldn't be eating chips and lollies and biscuits and all the processed foods, but that tastes good. But if you're someone that's into those processed foods and things like that, that is helping your body keep your body and your energy vibrating low. Okay, so all your good foods, your fresh foods, your whole foods, they will help increase your energy and help you vibrate higher. They'll make you feel a lot better. Probably don't taste as good, but you'll get used to it. So if you're someone that's really into processed foods and things like that, and you're always feeling sluggish and your energy is low and your emotions are low, that's why. So try and swap some of your bad stuff, some of the yummy stuff out for the yummy better stuff. Okay, so it's about the fuel that we put in our bodies as well. So how do we restore our energy? So I found that I was at a really low peak, and I'd had a lot of stress and upset and trauma. And then through educating myself, I started to feel a little bit better. My energy was up. And when I talk about energy, I'm not talking about running around the block. I'm talking about my emotional energy was a lot better. But I found it was hard to get it up to where I wanted it to be or where I felt it should be. So it was about, for me, it was about taking time out for me, which was not something that I did often, and it felt strange to do that at first. So I took time out for me, and I found things that I really like doing, and I started doing those. There was a lot of rest involved, so a lot of sleep. There was also a lot of going out in the sun and that sort of thing. So that's what helped me raise my vibration, my personal vibration ID, and found things that I just enjoyed doing and hung out with. I actually made a list of all the things that I love to do, that I really love to do and don't get the time. I also made a list of all the people that energize me. So you'll notice that in your group of friends and family, there will be people there that you just can't wait to be around and hang out with, because they either vibrate at the same energy level that you do and it feels comfortable, or they're vibrating a little bit higher and it's intoxicating. Okay, and then you'll find those ones that's like, oh God, I've got to deal with them, or I don't have the energy for them. If you're saying to yourself, oh, I don't have time for them, I don't have energy for them, I can't deal with them, then don't. Sometimes you have to, I know, because they're probably family members or work colleagues, and you have to, but limit the amount of time that you are spending with them. So I wrote a list of all those people in my life that have that high or the same energy as me or higher, that made me feel good, that I would be excited to be around, that when I leave them, I don't feel drained. So write yourself a list. Write yourself a list of the things that you love to do but probably don't get time to do it. Something that feels good for your soul. And then write a list of the feel-good people. Now, once you've written the list of the feel-good people, put a line underneath it. Okay? And then put a question mark. And then put a line underneath that. And underneath that, right? All the ones that you don't really want to have to deal with. So when you finish your list, you have your high vibration friends and the ones that make you feel great and you feel pumped up and energized around. And then in the middle section where the question mark is, that's for all the people that you're not really sure of, or can sometimes be high, can sometimes be low. But below that line is all the people that are absolutely sucking the life out of you, and that you, so that you can pinpoint who you need to limit your time with or who you can eliminate. Okay. It is a process. It's not something that you can do like that. It's something that needs to have a lot of thought put into it. So let me know. Let me know what you guys think of that. Are you having issues with trying to keep your vibration positive? Are you having troubles with energy vampires coming in and just sucking the life out of you? I know someone that's on here has just had a big birthday and said that they were going to flick the switch. So I'm hoping that you flick that bitch switch, which is what I've been calling it all week. It's not really a bitch switch. You're not being a bitch. You're just taking control of your own energy, your own life, and you're making good on promises that you should be making for yourself. So let me know, guys, how that sits with you. And, you know, if you've got any questions about personal energy and ID that we can go into tonight. I'll just show you again. I did it in the live. This is the tea I'm drinking tonight. I actually got asked today, well, what tea are you going to be drinking online tonight? This is, again, the butterfly pea tea. And last week or the week before when I was drinking it was a greeny colour. Tonight it's that nice purple colour because I put a little bit of lemon in it. So Sarah, sure have. I need a big shift in my life. Need to find myself again. Absolutely. And I think, and I can't speak for guys, obviously, but I think for women, we get to a certain age where we sort of just go, what the hell have I been doing? This really isn't working for me anymore. And you just want less complication and less drama. I mean, some people like the drama, but I think you just get to the point where enough's enough. So, yeah, all right. So, well, that was just a little bit about your energy and how you can protect it, and just being aware of it. And the more that you become aware of your own energy and the energy of others and how their energy makes you feel, yeah, it's very interesting. I just sit quietly sometimes now in a crowd, and I'm looking at different people at a gathering and thinking, yeah, you're a low, you're a high, you're in the between. And it sounds judgmental, probably is. And I wonder what they're saying about me. I don't really care, to be honest. But look, you just have to be aware of what's affecting your energy. So, all right, so we're going to talk about setting up for an investigation. So can I just have a show of hands or highs of how many people have been on investigation? So just let me know by yes me, saying yes me, or no, not yet, how many people have actually been on an investigation. Now there is a difference between, yep, Sarah, there is a difference between a ghost hunt or a ghost tour. Leanne, yes, many locations. Yes, Rachel, yes, me. Okay, so it looks like most of us have been out. Claire, hi Claire, yep, me. So there is a difference. So you would all know there's a difference between a ghost hunt and a paranormal investigation. So what we're talking about tonight is the paranormal investigation side of it. So how we set one up, how we organise it. Hi Claire. So you need a plan, okay? And that comes with experience too. I remember really early on when I was, hey, Paul Antoinette, hi, you too. I know that in the early years, I'd just rock up at a location and wing it and work out, what I was doing on the fly. That hasn't really served me too well, but that comes with experience. And after many, many investigations at different types of locations, you sort of get into a pattern of how you do things. And everyone might do it basically a little bit different, but you need a plan. So you need a plan and you want to know what you're trying to achieve. So obviously, we're all trying to communicate with spirit, but are we going in to do a general investigation, or are we going in to do a specific communication? So, for example, in a location, if you've done that's my stupid dog. If you've done some, what do you call it, research on it, you might know that there is a family attached to that property. So a general would be going in and just seeing who is there straight up, and more specific, it would be going in and doing, just sort of trying to communicate with that family. So work out what you're doing. If you don't know the history of the place, well, then you're obviously doing general. You want to work out what experiments you're doing and what equipment you're going to be using. So each different location that you go to, sometimes it depends on the size of the location as to how much equipment that you have. And yeah, just maybe the history of it will determine how you set up your equipment. But try and know the property a little bit before. Sometimes you don't really get much of an opportunity to, but if you can get the layout of the property and work out, okay, well, we're going to start off here and we're going to use these pieces of equipment and we're going to try this sort of communication, and then we're going to move down to this section and we're going to use these sorts of techniques. So have a bit of a plan. I mean, you don't have to be completely anal and write it all down and things like that, but have some sort of idea of what you want to try and achieve. And before you go, please check all your equipment. I don't know how many times, and you guys are probably the same, you go out on location and you think you've got the right battery for that camera, or you think you've got the right, lead for that piece of equipment, and it's just not there. You can't find it. So there's planning in making sure that all the equipment's working. So you want to test all your equipment before you go out on investigation. Test it, make sure it's running, charge it up, take extra batteries, because we all know that spirit can drain our batteries. So you want to make sure that you've got backup batteries as well. But also you want to think about how you can eliminate any contamination that you might get. So again, that goes back to knowing your environment. So knowing the site and what's around the site and what could cause contamination. For example, there's quite a few old inns and bars and pubs and things like that you can investigate. And a lot of the times they're still a running business. So going on a Saturday night to a pub or an old inn, you're going to get contamination from people that are dining or drinking or that sort of thing. For example, How House. So How House is in Windsor, and we've done that for many, many years. That house itself was great, but it was located next to a pub. So, and usually when we did investigations, it was a Friday or a Saturday night. So of course there's going to be, there's going to be music, that there's going to be people out and about walking past. So just really know your location and what your contamination issues could be, and try and then work out ways that maybe you can get around those. Another good thing for contamination is to just have a process that, because we can contaminate our own investigation. And I don't know how many times, like myself or someone I've been investigating with has actually done something that's contaminated, and we've spent ages going back after the investigation looking at the evidence, thinking that we've got something, and then realizing, oh no, that was just so and so, you know. So it's really important to tag anything. And when we say tag, most of you will probably know, but you'll be running audio, or you'll be running you know, your videos and stuff like that. So if someone coughs or someone whispers, even a tiny whisper to someone next to you, if the equipment's over there, it can pick it up, and it can sound like spirit. So if I need to whisper something quietly to the person next to me, I'll say it and say, tag, that was me, or cough, or just even a clearing the throat, tag. If you notice that maybe a car has driven past the location, tag, that was a car. And yeah, because things that you're not aware of at the time, Claire, yeah, like an EMF reader, if you think it's spiking, sometimes it's electric energy around. Yeah, that's right. That's actually, we'll talk about that in a sec. Yeah, that, and phones set off the EMFs and all that sort of stuff. So it's, when we go and do a location, we try to video everything that we're doing at some point, even if it's on a phone or if it's on a still camera, just so you've got a point of reference. I might put up, actually, there was in our house, we had a still camera set up, and a light started, even when everyone was in the room, a light started flashing, and nobody noticed it, nobody made comment on it. And then when I was looking at the footage, I thought, well, that's really weird that no one tagged it. Damn it, you know, we should have been tagging that, saying, oh, the light's flashing or whatever. But then it stopped, and then everyone walked out of the room, and the camera was still rolling, and that light started flashing again. And it was just interesting, because at first I thought, damn, we haven't tagged it. But it was obviously, when I went back and I spoke to everyone that was in that room at the time, nobody said that we were sitting in a darkened room, and this flash was quite bright, and nobody in that room noticed it. So yeah, it's really important to tag things. It could be a distant dog barking, anything like that. So it's just it just helps when you're doing your review. So also, one of the other things we need to do is clear communication with your team. So being clear with your whole team about all the things we've just discussed, so everyone's on the same page, and having some team ethics. So even if your team is 1 or 2 people, or it could be 10, you want to make sure that that team has solid ethics. So one of ours is, you know, nobody gets left behind, meaning that nobody goes off on their own. You must have someone with you, because for safety reasons, really, and we'll go into the do's and don'ts in a minute of investigating. But that's one of our things, is nobody goes anywhere on their own. Another one is obviously no fakery. So we're not there to fake. We have been out on investigation, and we have had people not faking, but embellishing, which to me is still faking. And yeah, that's not on. Also, your whole team needs to understand what debunking is and how it can be done, and have the same philosophy of not jumping to conclusions that, you know, some little blip is on the EMF is not spirit trying to come through, but, you know, have people that are able to think outside the box and have the same morals as you do. All right. You also got to decide in your plan how you're going to store and review your evidence. So a lot of equipment has its own little SD cards and things like that. How you're going to store it, on whether it's computers, who's storing it. and also to the reviewing process. Like, I saw something on Facebook this week, and it was a guy over in the States, an investigator, and he said, you see people taking all this footage and all these, hours and hours of EVP, but then they don't do anything with it. It just sits on their machine or it sits on their computer. They don't actually review it, which I think is a bit pointless. You're either going in to be able to try and capture evidence so that you can, review it and then put it together as, and try and find some evidence there. Or if you're just going in there and wanting that personal experience, don't bother. Don't bother with all the gadgets. That's what we found, is that we used to be all about the gadgets and everything, but we're more now about our own personal experiences. It's great if we capture something on video or on voice recorder or photo that we can share with everyone, but we're more about the personal experience. And I just found that I would spend half the night, sitting in the dark, in the cold most of the time. Oh, we just lost connection. Is my sound still okay, guys? Can I get some thumbs up or some yeses, please? Because I just had a glitch in my connection. Yeah, so we're going in there now, and I'm spending most of the night sitting there, fiddling around in the dark, pressing the oh, good, thanks, Leanne. Keeps doing it, making sure that I had the right file on the voice recorder and stuff, and it was just taking away from my personal experience. I was putting all my attention and my energy into equipment, and not being there personally. So we've sort of steered away. Thanks, Paul, Antoinette. I think it's probably Antoinette. We've sort of started steering away more from all the gadgets and everything. We'll put a simple camera up and film. But if you haven't got the time or the interest of sitting there for hours after the investigation, there's no point in trying to record it all. I guess some people might think that, well, if I don't record it and something happens, then I've missed it. Well, that is true, but just for me personally, these days I don't care so much if I don't capture it, even though we're called Australia's Capture Paranormal. But it's more for us anyway. Everyone's different, but yeah, for us it's more about the personal side of it. So you also want to think about how your data is going to be collected too, what equipment that you're using, and how you're going to collect your data. So when we go into a new environment at the beginning of each different investigation, we'll go in and we will do what we call a walkthrough. So most of you probably do the same thing, and you know what a walkthrough is. That's where you walk through the property. One, we're looking for any trip hazards, any dangers to our person, but we're also doing readings of EMF, so your electromagnetic field, and seeing where we're getting high hits, and just seeing what the baseline is, so that during the investigation we can understand what that baseline is, and then think, wow, okay, we're getting big spikes here. You might want to look at your temperature, your barometric pressure. What else do we do? Humidity too. So humidity is also a good thing. So you might have, you probably have different gadgets, and sensory gadgets, and equipment to be able to do all that. But even just if you haven't got all the fancy gadgets, even I think most of us have got EMF detectors. Walking through each room slowly and just moving your EMF reader across walls, down from your power points and light switches, around door frames, window frames, and you'll get to know where you're spiking. And the reason it's probably spiking is because obviously it's picking up the electric current. So we've had some really bizarre ones where you'll go in a room and right across the walls and everything around the power points, around all the light switches, the light fittings, the fans and everything, nothing. But then it's on the floor and you think, that's bizarre. It'll also pick up water, so water currents as well too. If there's energy around that and then you've got water flowing, we know that out at on Cockatoo Island, they've got a well in the middle of the convict area there, and that has massive, it's like closed off to the ground now, but it's still running underneath the ground, and there's lots of EMF there. So just doing a walk around and checking out your levels and writing them down and just saying, well, yeah, this is what we've got in this room, and just letting everyone in the room know too. So that'll give you a baseline. So that's something that's really important to do. So there's lots to think about before even going out on an investigation. How you're going to do it, the equipment that you're going to be using. I always have a backup plan too and think, well, we're going to try these, but if that doesn't work, I'll bring some extra equipment and we might do some table tipping, or we might do the witchy, or maybe that camera is always reliable, but I'll just take a backup one instead. So always think about, and make your plan before you go. All right. So the do's and don'ts of investigating. I'm sure you've all, now I had them here and I don't know where they've gone now. Here they are. So we did this apprenticeship probably, it was during COVID, so it's 3 or 4 years ago. And I wrote up a whole heap of do's and don'ts that we have unfortunately found out some of them the hard way. So I'm just going to run through them. They are on my computer, so I'm going to make sure that I had them all right. So always tell someone where you're going to investigate. So for example, for a long time I was going out by myself and meeting up with other people. So I would always make sure that Rob knew where I was going and what the plan was. Having the Live 360 on your phone was great for us. So he could always know, like, if she's supposed to be here, if something's going on and something happens, I know that I can get to her. So never investigate on your own. Never, never, never. Walking through a cemetery the other day, that's fine. But if you're, especially at night time or in a secluded location, never go on your own, and make sure that you always tell someone where you're going. Wear clothes that are loose fitting and comfortable. You can be spending a lot of time sitting in cramped, uncomfortable places, in cold locations. A lot of people wear black, and some people wear it because they love black, but black is probably the better colour to wear. But make sure that your clothing doesn't have reflective strips on it or little logos. That can really play havoc with your photos and your video if you've got reflective stuff on. So also in winter, make sure that your jackets and your parkas, your coats, whatever you're wearing, try and make sure they're wool or cotton. The last thing you want is every time you move your arm to get shh, 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 because that sounds horrific on an EVP when you're trying to listen, and then all you can hear is every time someone's moving their arm like a tiny little inch where it's going shh, shh. Okay, so just be aware of that. Shoes, always closed-in shoes, even in summer, closed-in shoes to protect your feet, and rubber soles. So when we were doing tours, I remember I would always say to people, rubber sole shoes, please. No high heels, ladies. And I had one lady turn up in high heels. So all night on wooden floors, boom, 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 boom. We don't want to hear that. That is contaminating our evidence. So rubber sole shoes. And if you're doing outdoors, I would suggest that you're wearing a boot. or a very sturdy shoe that's got support around the ankles, and somewhere where you can either pull your socks up, really sexy, pull your socks up over your pants, or tuck your pants into the boot or the shoe, because yeah, there's all sorts of creepy crawlies out there. So yeah, closed-in shoes. Always pack extra torch and batteries, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have battery drain. So spirits can actually drain the batteries. One of the worst places for battery drain is where we're going, not this coming weekend, the weekend after, is the Q station. Every time we go to the Q station, big battery packs, zoom, in 5 minutes gone. So we always take extra to the quarantine station. But yeah, battery packs or the little power packs are good. We'll be taking a couple of those. So have them all charged up and ready to go. And an extra torch. Last thing you want to be doing, especially if you're on a night investigation, is take one torch and have it die on you for whatever reason. So always have a backup torch. Even in summer, take a light jacket, because it can get a little bit chilly. Or if you're outdoors, it just protects you from bugs. we've had lots of issues with bugs. Another funny one that people always giggle at is tissues or toilet paper. Always stock it in the car so you don't get caught short, because we have been caught short before. If investigating a new location at night, try and go during the day so you can get a lay of the land, and so you can see any potential hazards, and mark them if necessary. Take full advantage of anyone that knows that property, knows the history of it. If you're somebody that does do research, myself, I don't necessarily do the research, but if they, hey Hectic, how are you? If they know the history of it, or some, maybe stay away from there or whatever, take full advantage of that. Don't think you're too good, and don't need that little extra assistance. Always take it. Pack a first aid kit. Yep. We've used a first aid kit quite a few times. Where possible, always make sure that you get permission. So don't go trespassing. Everyone should know that in New South Wales, I'm not sure about the other states in Australia, but in New South Wales, it is illegal to enter a cemetery between sundown and sun up unless you have permission. Okay, so if you do that, and I have, hand up, I have done that in the past, I don't do it anymore. But if you do that, then without permission, then understand that police have a right to charge you. Always be respectful of the location, the owners of the location, or the management of the location. Always be extremely respectful of any spirits that may be in that location. Okay, so it's all about respect. If you notice any damage or any dangers during your investigation, take photos of it and document it, and then pass that on to, if there's an authority looking after the property, then pass that on so that they can try and organise to have that fixed up. Safety in numbers, like I said before, never investigate on your own. It is too dangerous. If you're, like I said, walking through a cemetery during the day, that is fine, but do not go out, especially at night, or in an abandoned area, or a highly wooded area, or anything where there could be dangers of either falls, breakages, or other people, animals. So never investigate on your own. Make sure you've always got a phone that's fully charged and has service. Patience is a virtue. Give yourself time to get yourself accustomed to the environment. Some locations can take a little extra time. Don't be too impatient. Investigating is it's hit and miss. you know, and if you don't have patience and you expect to go into a location and have it jumping, you're there for the wrong reason. Okay. All right. Oh, read and watch as much as you can on paranormal, on the paranormal. Learn different techniques. That will always, and experiment. So you know, have an arsenal of ideas. And that's where we go back to our planning before that we were talking about. Um, have a whole heap of different ideas of things that you can try at that location, because, you know, one thing might not work where something else does. Okay. Learn how to debunk. Always have a little bit of skepticism when you're investigating. This is something really important. Introduce yourself to the spirits and ask for permission to be in their environment. So, with how we used to walk in and open up the door and say, "Hi guys, we're here. Is it okay if we come and have a chat? My name's Jen. This is Rob or Belinda, Vicky, whatever," and just give them that respect and acknowledgement. Okay, because that's and always make sure to, when you're leaving, to thank any spirits, even if you think you didn't have any spirit communication. It doesn't mean that they're not there. It just means that they weren't trying to communicate or weren't able to communicate. So always thank the spirits for allowing you to be in their space. Most important is protect yourself. So we've talked about protection. We're doing a lot of protection in our classes on Wednesdays. So protecting yourself with however you protect yourself. So there's lots of different ways, but make sure, and if you're unsure on how to protect yourself, please private message us, and we'll have a chat and talk about different ways that you can protect yourself. At the end of each investigation, thank the spirits for allowing you to be there and for communicating. Double check you have all your equipment. Okay. Even if you have to get a little bit of tape, medical tape's great, and put it on each piece of equipment and number them 1 to 20. So at the end of the night, you can count them 1, 2, 3. I'm missing 6. Okay. We have left equipment in locations. Thankfully, they're ones that we've been able to go back to, or somebody else has picked it up for us. Spend a little time during and after the investigation to brief your team and about what you've experienced. It's also, at the end, it's also a great way of grounding from the investigation. Always keep an eye on your team members. If you see that someone's being affected by spirit, or the heat or the cold or whatever, you know, take care of them. So you need to be vigilant in looking after each other, and just knowing, and that comes down to when you've got a good team and you've been investigating a bit, you know, like for example with Belinda and I know when something's not right with Belinda, and I'll say to her, "Hey honey, you okay? Like, how about we go outside and have a break?" And she's the same with me. So yeah, just make sure that your team members are okay. Do not bring children to an investigation. I have been asked many, many, many times, "Can my 6-year-old come?" No, no. It's not. We're dealing with. We don't know. Sometimes we don't know what we're dealing with. So we don't want children there. These are not topics that I personally would have let on all my boys are grown up now and are adults. But it's not something personally I would have let my children be involved in. Did I talk to them about spirits and witches and ghosts and stuff? Of course I did. But anything can happen on an investigation, and sometimes they can be full on. So yeah, no children. If you can't find a babysitter, don't go. Never go into an investigational location assuming that there is a source of paranormal. Always remain open. And like I said before, being a little bit skeptical is how you should approach. A lot of people will say to me, "Oh, this happened and that happened." I'll say, "Oh, that's great." Now, it's not that I believe that they're lying. It's just I haven't seen it with my own eyes. So there's that little bit of skepticism. I will not believe, it doesn't matter who tells me, I will not believe something 100% unless I have experienced it myself. You know, you can believe the possibility of something, but an event actually happening, you know, you need a little bit of skepticism there. Don't record it if you don't want to sit and review it. Okay, hours and hours and hours. You go to an investigation for 8 hours, and you're filming everything. Guess what? You've got another at least 8 hours of sitting and reviewing it. If you don't want to review it, don't tape it. Don't allow distractions that could impair your judgment. So don't eat a heavy meal before you go. The worst thing to do is go and have a big feed and then be sitting crouched down in the dark with all that food in your tummy. Never drink alcohol before you go, or while, during. And watch for any medications that might impair your judgment, or could alter your state. Okay, we need to have our wits about us. Most of the times the spirits that we're communicating with are fine and there's not an issue, but you don't know what you're going to walk into. You don't know what other people are bringing into the location with them. So you need to have your wits about you. I put this on my desk to remind me. Electrical tape. We carry this everywhere. I don't know how many times we have used electrical tape to fix equipment that's fallen apart because we've dropped it in the dark, or secure a battery pack, or electrical tape's great. We've also used it for someone that forgot their belt. So we just wrapped it around them. So pretty versatile. You can use it for just about anything. It's also great for if you're in a room and you've got a light source coming in under a door. Electrical tape it down on the door. It doesn't mark, or most things it doesn't mark, it'll mark glass and things like that. Turn your phone to flight mode for each investigation, because obviously we know that EMFs can, the phones can set off the EMFs and all your sensories and things like that. Also too, we've had it where we've been sitting there really quiet trying to concentrate because something crazy is going on, and then someone gets a text message, scares the crap out of you. So if you have to have your phone on because you have to be contactable, make sure your phone is down on, not silent, but maybe you can put it on vibration, but keep it away from all the equipment because it will affect it. Don't take disruptive people along with you. So if you're serious about investigating and you're going out on an investigation, be careful who you take. We've gone out and taken some newbies that we were showing the ropes a little bit, who were really interested, seemed interested. And then when they got there, they were just giggling and wanting the jump scares, and just completely ruined the investigation for everyone that was there. So just be careful who you take and why they want to come out until you get to know them. Anyone that's going to be loud or obnoxious, talking through the entire night, so they're screwing up and contaminating your evidence. If it's appropriate, make sure that you always thank the property owner. That's really important to us. Even if you're paying to be in that property and they're making money out of you, just, it's good PR just to go and thank them. Let them know how it went. Share some, most of them will want you to share the evidence with them, even if you think they're absolute asses or they're painful, doesn't matter. PR. The last one that I've got here is pretty important too, and you need to make sure that you're not pushing too far past your comfort zone. So unless you feel safe to do so, and never push other people past their comfort zone. Let everyone just ease into it. Not everyone will be as confident as you on a location. Not everyone will be able to deal with what happens at a location like you will. Some people, it'll completely freak out some people. Um, you know, there's been times, in particularly late last year, I, I've been in so many different prison cells. That sounds good, doesn't it? Abandoned prison cells, and happily gone in there in asylums and prison cells on my own, closed the door, sat in there, done a lone vigil, and not had an issue. Now, I know a lot of other people, I mean, I've laid on so many morgue slabs and things like that, and that would be really out of other people's comfort zones. And that's fine. But late last year, we were at Beechworth and we went to the asylum, and then the next night we did the jail. Now, I had never been into that jail, and when we walked in, we went into like the cafe, I think it is. It was like the command base, and I was fine, not a problem. I was really looking forward to it. Belinda and I, we'd had a whole group come with us, but Belinda and I had our idea of what we wanted to do, and we'd made our plan. And as soon as we walked into the actual jail itself, I was like, oh my God. I just this intense feeling of dread. And it's one of the first places that has really put me on edge. And I could have easily gone, you know what? No, I'm done. A really awkward feeling. And I thought, come on, God, all the different places that you've been, all the things that you've experienced, why is this freaking you out? Just push past it. And I thought, you know what, I am going to push myself because I've come all this way. And I don't quite understand at that time why I'm so uncomfortable. And I thought, no, Jen, just push through it. And then I got to a point where I went, you know what, I have pushed myself, but now I'm really, really uncomfortable. So I took myself out of it. Okay, so yes, push yourself a little bit, but don't push it to the point of no return where it's going to cause you issues. I was okay once I went out and had, did some grounding and got rid of that, whatever that energy was. And Belinda felt it as well. But yeah, everyone has a different level that they can get to before enough's enough. So just emotionally and physically, don't push yourself too far, especially physically as well. Investigations can be long. You can be spending, up to usually sometimes 8 hours in a location, and it's night when we're supposed to be sleeping. You might be hungry, you might be tired, you might be cramping, you might be just getting really agitated. You might be taking on the energy of the place. So especially in jails and asylums, they can be pretty horrific energies. So yeah, just be really, really careful that you're not pushing yourself past that point of no return. So was it just the whole jail in general, or was there a certain area that made you feel uneasy? Look, to be honest, when we walked in through the gates, I thought, yep, bring it on, yay. Then we walked into the cafe, and that was like, yeah, doesn't matter. We did our protection and everything. And then it was, I don't know whether you've been there, guys, but when you sort of walk from the cafe, you come out the door and you turn right, and then you go in, and I think it's in the middle where the two wings come together. And we were just standing there, and I swear I had every hair on the back of my neck standing up. I just felt like eyes on me, watching me. I felt like someone came up behind me, and it was all happening. And I think maybe the reason I was really is because I hadn't got to even walk in and assess the place and feel the energies without all this happening all at once. And I could feel from above being looked at from behind. It felt like I was going to have someone race up behind me and rush up behind me. once that initial, and I remember saying to Belinda, oh, I don't like this. This is not, I don't feel good. And she was saying the same thing. And I thought, oh, shit, thank God it's not just me. Then we went down with Danny from who runs the tours, and we went and sat down, and she was telling us a little bit about the history. And then she started inviting the spirits down. And I was okay with that. And then we did an experiment where I could feel the spirits coming down. I could feel them walking straight in front of us, and you could hear them coming down, and the energy completely changed. And then we did a bit of an experiment where a couple of it, actually, Belle, are you still on here? Belle and I, not Belinda from Western Sydney, but Belle from Wollongong. Belle and I decided that we would go down, just the two of us, down the end of one of the cell blocks and do a little bit of a lone vigil. Yeah, I'm not sure if she's still on with us, but that was freaky. Both Belle and I think Belle was sitting on a chair and I was standing up, and both at the same time we were feeling things, we were seeing them, we were smelling them, tasting them, and it was like, I think I know that I was at that point of, I think it's time for me to leave. And I don't get spooked so much, but this place really got me so hectic. I think it was the overall general, it sort of come and goes while we were in the, but there was two of us, and Antoinette, or I don't know if it's Paul that's on, but Paul and I were standing there, and everyone was doing table tipping or something, and we saw Belle and Heath. We both saw them walk into a cell, and there was a noise in that cell, and the guys doing the table tipping said, "Oh my God, what was that?" I said, "Oh, it's okay. It's just Belle and Heath in the cell." And someone said, no, they're around the other side. I said, no, we just saw them walk in. So Paul and I went in with our torches, and there was no one in the cell. We were standing probably 2 or 3 meters away from the door. That room was visible the whole time. I swear to God, I saw them both walk in, and they looked just like you and I. So we had some doppelganger activity going on there. And then I started thinking, wow, if I've seen them so visibly and thought it was actually them, like they walked past me and into the cell. They didn't say anything to me, but they walked past me and into the cell with their equipment. And Heath had, it wasn't you guys. It wasn't you guys, but Paul and I saw you and Heath walk in. Heath had the big camera and everything, and then like 2 seconds later, there's a big bang, and everyone freaked out. Paul and I said, no, it's all right. It's just the guys in the cell. And they're like, no, they're around the other side. I said, they're not. They just walked in. So that was really bizarre. And things like that kept happening all night. And then I think, Belle, you and I, we sort of walked off into an area we probably weren't supposed to be in that caged area. And that was uncomfortable right to the end. So, yeah, that place is just, I really want to go back and see if I experience those same sorts of feelings. But now I've got the power of suggestion too, so you've got to be careful with that. All right, so we're going to quickly talk. What have we been on? An hour and 8, but we've had some issues tonight. So what we might do, yeah, I'm good at finding secret doors. Yes, you are. The other Belinda and I are going to try and go back there. So when we go back, you'll have to come with us. So we're going to talk a little bit about scrying and dowsing. So dowsing and scrying, we use both of those techniques in some of our investigations. Oh, something was just crawling on my leg. I think it was a loose hair. So in different locations, we'll use different techniques. So dowsing is one of the ones that I'm not hectic. I'd love to go back there. It's been a long time. Well, you guys can come too. We'll all just meet there. I think are you guys, Queensland or Victoria? I think you said somewhere before you were Victoria. I can't scroll up now. So yeah, we could all meet there. That'd be cool. So yeah, so dowsing rods. So these are a pair that I need to fix because the handles are all the beading needs replacing. Belinda is our from Western Sydney Spirit Sister. She's our dowsing guru. I've had some success, but I'm not. She needs to give me a few more lessons on them. So I've got that set, or I've got these ones that I thought would be really good because they folded up, but they're a little bit harder to control, and I don't feel there. So you're holding them like that, and you can have. I'm still not used to this camera. You can have them at different lengths. We're in Victoria. Cool. We can all meet up there. Yeah, so I just find these ones a little bit harder to use. I'm not 100% confident on their movement. I think they move too much, and I think they can be easily manipulated, not on purpose, but just you really have to lock your arms in. So we use those. Belinda's got these really big fandangle ones. They're really cool. They're electronic ones, and one's red and one's green, and they can change colours for, yes and no and stuff like that. So, oh, I've just had the ringing in the ears. That's my sign spirits coming through. Don't know why. And I've completely lost track of thought of what I was talking about. The dowsers. So, yeah, Belinda's had some really good activity with those, and one night we might get sorry, I missed which jail you're talking about. We're talking about the Beechworth jail. So we did the asylum and the jail, and I've done lots of different jails all over Australia and overseas, like mainly in the US. But this one, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just that night and everyone that was on the investigation that night, I had been investigating with many, many, many times. So I knew everybody. So it wasn't some weird energy thing where my energy was not matching with somebody else's energy. It was just the jail. So, yeah. So another thing. So I leave the dowsing up to Belinda. That's her thing. But we might get her on one night and show us how to do some dowsing. We might even do some lives because Belinda's coming with us overseas in a few months. So we're going to plan to do a whole heap of lives. We've just finished all of our bookings. We've booked everything in. We've got all our tickets and our information, and everything's confirmed. And just as we did that, we booked in the Conjuring House, so I can't wait for that. Yeah, so we're really excited about that. But we'll be doing lives over there, and I don't know whether she won't be taking her big dowsers, but we might take a set of her other dowsers, and maybe we can use that. I'll have to talk to her about that. But another oh, stop it. You can always come with us. Another form of communication is scrying. So scrying you can do with mirrors, you can do with water, clouds. Got my little crystal ball. Looking forward to seeing your travels in the US. Oh, we are so excited. You guys are going to get sick of us talking about it. But we've actually started planning next year's trip as well. So jealousy just set in. Yeah, so crystal balls. I find the crystal ball a little bit harder to use. So I prefer the actual mirror scrying, which is really dirty. You can just see fingerprints everywhere. Yeah, so mirror scrying. You can also do it with fire, smoke, crystals, and that sort of thing. you also got with your dowsing is your pendulum. Okay, so this is a really nice felt, it's a little felt mat, which is really cute. And for our classes, I was a tight ass. And I photocopied this and then laminated them. So the poor guys at class are using like just a laminated thing, but this is my little felt one. But I also just started using this one here, which it's a little bit harder to use because as you can see, everything's really close together. So it takes a little bit of time to yeah, a little bit extra time, but I find the mats easy to use. So you can use anything for your pendulum. So this is my spare crystal that I had hanging up. I don't know where my pendulum has actually gone. I've put it somewhere and not put it away properly. And don't tempt me. You can use anything. You can use a necklace. Probably, I don't know how old everyone is, but back in the late 70s, early 80s, there was this big fad of everyone putting a wedding ring or a ring and, holding it over your palm, and depending on which way it swung, whether you were having a boy or a girl and all that sort of thing. It's the same concept. You can put a wedding ring, anything, crystal, metal, that sort of thing will work. Yeah, and I find this one easier. There's, it's very distinct, yes and no. When it goes to rephrase or maybe, I just stop and re-ask the question. With the mirror scrying, has anyone done mirror scrying? And I'd love to know what sort of results that you got from it. It is something that takes a little bit of time to get used to. But I remember I was over with Haunted Horizons in Adelaide, and I think we're at, I'm not sure if it was at Tailem Town or not, but at one of their locations, and they were doing mirror scrying. And I remember, no, it was at the train yards, whatever that's called. And I was sitting on this old train carriage with the mirror, and it was at night time. I was sitting there, and I was really tired. I was traveling on my own, and I'd just done like 2.5 weeks of travel. And I was sitting there and thought, I've never really had much success with these mirrors scrying. And then all of a sudden, my grandmother came up, and I was like, holy crap. Sarah, a little bit, yes, it's hard but interesting. Yeah, it's not easy. I've become better at doing that over the years, but it is hard to get started, and we do a little bit of that in class just to show people how to do it, because it's an easy thing that you can do at home. It's not expensive to do at home, but oh wow, I've got spirit coming through really intensely. I've just had I think it's a mum. I think it's a mum who's passed. Yeah, I think it's a mum that's passed. Has anyone here lost their mum recently, or is there an anniversary of a death that's coming through? Because I think she just wants to come through and say hello. Oh, it's really intense. Anyway, yeah, so try the mirror scrying. A lot of people will try and sell you a really expensive mirror. This is a $2 or $3 mirror from the $2 shop, and a piece of black cardboard inside it. That's all you need. You don't need to be going and spending $20 or $30 on a mirror. As long as that surface is reflective, it's fine. That's why you can do it with water. You can do it in the clouds, so you can be sitting there, and all you're doing is you're softening your gaze and going into a trance state. It was my mother-in-law's anniversary of her death last week. I don't know what they usually come in differently, but this one is coming in. I don't know if they had issues with hearing or with their ears or something with their head, but they're really starting to they're really playing with my ears. I don't know whether that's like, hey, listen, but it just feels like they're coming through and wanting to acknowledge that they just want to say hi, and thank you. I don't know if that means anything for you, but yeah, I don't know if anything to do with the ears, but I've actually got pain all down through the ear and down here at the moment. Yeah, so try scrying. We do it a little bit on investigation, not too much, because there's so many other things to do. But it's one of those backup things that we do take, and it might be something we've used in asylums, probably more so than anywhere else. But yeah, so. All right, look, we've been on for about nearly an hour and 20 minutes, but I spent a lot of time mucking around with my internet that wouldn't work. So I'm not even sure what time it is. I think it's 20 to 10, so it's time for me to head off. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Sorry we had some issues in the beginning. Is there anyone that's got any questions about what we've talked about tonight? Oh, her husband has issues with his ears. If it's her, that is okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. They usually come in differently for me, but this, it's definitely female. It's definitely just wanting to be acknowledged. But I don't know why they're coming in with my ears like they are. Strange. But anyway, it quite possibly, look out for a couple of signs. You may have already received some, you're not really paying attention to them, but yeah, just over the next day or two, if it's her, I think she's going to try and just come in and say hi. All right, guys, I hope you have a great week. We don't have class this Wednesday. I'm sort of starting to miss it, the Wednesday woo-woos. And nightly and quite possibly maybe this week. Hey, Rach, thanks, Dale. Quite possibly won't be tomorrow night. Might be Thursday night. I might jump on and we'll do some cards. Thanks, Linda. We might do the oracles and do some readings and see if... Hang on, I'm just going to... 2 seconds. I'm just going to see if I can get anything through the cards. Good night, Paul and Antoinette. Oh, my ear's really hurting. I know. No, nothing. I'm not connecting. It's just, they're just there. So I don't know what's going on. Just take that. They might be around, and just look out for some different signs. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week. It's going to be a hot one. I think not too bad tomorrow, but Thursday in Sydney is going to be a shocker. So, yeah, keep hydrated. And if you guys have got any topics that you want brought up, discussed, or you've got any ideas that would be good for us to have a chat about, please send me a quick message on Facebook. And, yeah, it'd be great. And if you want to come on and have a chat with us and we can talk about some different stuff, that would be cool too. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Jen. See you next week.